corazón. Super sensación del Perú. De Bernabé y Eduardo Vilcapoma. Y producciones musicales Los Alamitos Puro Corazón.
Welcome back to the Green Yard. We're here in the Peruvian Amazon in a place called Sauce. And let me tell you, you can't get much more Peruvian Amazon than this palm right behind me. It creates a fruit that the locals make desserts out of, other things. And let me tell you, it's pretty Amazonian. So we're staying at this resort in outside of Tarapoto called Sauce, and this is kind of their garden area that they have. The whole area, I mean the whole resort's landscape, but they have a bunch of fruiting trees all over here, very similar to some other garden areas as well. And so this is a noni tree, and I know that some people have tried to grow noni trees in the Phoenix area before. I actually haven't tried yet. I want to, but it has this kind of weird looking fruit, very medicinal fruit. And there's actually one right here on the ground as well. And the crazy thing about it is that when they turn this translucent color, they actually start to smell like blue cheese. So a lot of vegans actually make blue cheese dressing out of noni fruit. So if you guys are here, you could smell how awful it smells, but it actually smells exactly like blue cheese, which is super crazy. Now I'm not going to take a bite of this because some other critters have, and I'm not a big fan of blue cheese dressing, but it's really cool how nature can make their own blue cheese dressing without the need for cheese. But so this here is that noni tree. So maybe someday we'll add that to the Green Yard and have my own blue cheese, vegan blue cheese dressing right in my backyard. But this one really caught my eye because it's something that you kind of can grow in Phoenix, but not really, and that is a cacao tree. This is a chocolate tree right here, and so this is actually a almost ripe cacao fruit, which is amazing. And it looks like as well it's been fruiting a lot lately too. Has some brand new cacao on here, and we actually have some flowers as well that I'll do some close-ups on. It's super cool to see a mature cacao tree actually growing, since in Arizona it's so hard for them to grow. Typically in Phoenix you grow them, if you have a greenhouse you can be successful, you grow them inside and they just don't fruit, but they are really pretty trees still with these big huge tropical looking leaves as well. I just love the structure of these trees, and of course they make chocolate, so how can you go wrong there? Like I mentioned before, going through some of the places that we've been, some of the gardens that we've been in, even though it's a resort, this has been pretty typical of the layout of everyone here that has a yard and has space. They kind of have, a grassy area, and then they put fruit trees or flowering trees around in that grassy area. Very spread out, very, tropical resort style looking. For here, we have coconut palm, which, like I mentioned last time, there's a ton of coconut palms here at this resort. Coconut palms can grow in Phoenix. There are people who have had success growing coconut palms, not necessarily getting them to fruit, but getting them to grow. In fact, my parents have one that's doing pretty well in their yard, but definitely needs that cold protection in the winter. But it is fun to see them here in the Amazon, where they don't need anything and they do great. This one has the green coconuts on it, which is for like coconut water. And then a couple of them do have the yellow coconuts, which from what I've learned, these are more for coconut milk, or the inside that, coconut, kind of that white coconut that you can eat there. So there's one of these as well that I found walking around our resort here. And then this one here is a big, huge mango tree. One of the cool things about mango trees in Phoenix is that they all stay dwarf. They're not going to get above, that 10, 12, maybe if you're lucky, 15 feet. Here in the tropics, they grow to be 40, 60, 80 feet tall. This one as well is blooming right now, which is cool. You can see some of the blooms coming off. So unfortunately, there's no fruit right now, but it would be really cool if there was fruit later on. If you remember, in the green yard, we have 4 different varieties of mango. We have our Fennel mango, we have our Kerry mango, our fruit punch, and then our Spirit of 76 mango as well. Not sure what variety this is, but I'm sure it's more of a local variety here in South San. So a little bit more about some of the trees that we've seen here. Pretty amazing resort. So let's go look at it some more. And this is a tree. Took me a second or two to figure out what it was, but something that pretty much every Arizona knows and grows in their yard. It's actually an orange tree. Looks a little bit sad. Looks like it has some blight on it or something like that. But you can actually see these are totally citrus leaves here. Very, very citrusy leaves, and up at the very top you can see one lone orange all the way up at the top there. So it's kind of fun to see these more in their natural environment versus in our yards in Phoenix. Although citrus does so great in Phoenix, and I know it does great here too, but definitely fighting off some extra stuff that we don't have to deal with quite as much in Phoenix, so that's kind of nice. Seen that really intrigued me here at our resort that we're staying at. This is called a heliconia. It's also known as a lobster claw. Reminds me a little bit of a like birds of paradise kind of look, with these big huge leaves. Kind of has that banana-esque look to it there. They do grow these in Phoenix. I'm not sure about flowering, how they do. Hoping to add some of these though to the green yard, to the pool area of the green yard. I think it would look really pretty to have kind of this aesthetic in the green yard in our Phoenix home. So one of the neat things about being here in South is that everywhere we go, there's kind of these gardens, these jardins, where whether it's a business or it's a personal place, they all have these fruit trees in this area that's all cleared out like this, where they're growing things. This one in particular was really cool. We stopped here to have a little bit of lunch at these people's house, and to my right is a big, huge, mature breadfruit tree, which is super awesome. You can't really grow breadfruit in the Phoenix area. It's more of a house plant, but it's really neat to see, breadfruit growing in kind of this wild area. To have such a mature one with fruit on it as well is really amazing to see. Actually a rice paddy back here. They grow a lot of rice in Tarapoto, but I wanted to talk about this angel trumpet tree. very beautiful. We actually can grow this in Phoenix, Arizona. It is something that I plan on putting in the green yard eventually. Super cool, really beautiful flowers on here. They're very amazing. And then we also have this huge papaya tree. So if you remember the papaya video where we planted all those papayas in the green yard, here is a mature papaya here in the Amazon in Tarapoto. So one of the things that they're known for here in the South area is actually called guanabana or soursop. So they actually grow a lot of soursop here in a lot of gardens, places like that. We're here having dinner, and right here is a big, huge guanabana fruit or soursop fruit. Has a whole bunch of ants on it. It's pretty cool. This really cool tree behind me, this one right here. It's actually loaded and covered with fruit, and the fruit is actually ice cream bean, or as they call it here, it's called Pakai. So kind of cool to see ice cream bean growing here in the Amazon, where, you know, it's native, something that you can as well grow in the Phoenix desert, and hopefully something I will be adding soon to the green yard. But it's fun to see. This is actually a different variety than they have in other places, like Lima. Much thicker variety.